Saibhai, let's start with the overall. I'll get into specifics a little later. Let's start with the overall Indian performance. And they've got the record score. The second highest in World Cup history is what India notched up today, 256. This is something that we used to all be talking about. India's firepower when it comes to India's batting. That is something we didn't see throughout this tournament. Happy that it's all come together for this game and for games coming up. Other teams are going to be wary of this batting lineup now.
Well, they got a good start. All these matches, their opening bat has gone out for a 0. Whether it was Abhishek Sharma or Ishan Kishan, they've got out for ducks. And they've got out in the power play, and which really puts pressure on any team. This time around, just 1 wicket in the power play and 70 plus runs on the board, which meant that they had got a very, very good platform. And therefore, it became that much easier for the batters coming down the order to play a lot more freely, play their shots from virtually the first ball and get the big runs that they did.
That's right. The openers did give them a very good start, and I'm going to talk to you about one of those openers first, and that is Abhishek Sharma. Remember, we were talking about how he's not really showing that kind of form that we've come to get used to. 3 ducks is what he got. So today, even though, I see his strike rate, he gets the highest runs for India, 55, ends up with a very impressive strike rate of 180. But he didn't start the way we've gotten so used to him, right? Not bang, bang from the start. Was a bit conservative. Do you like this version of Abhishek a little more?
Absolutely. He stroked the first ball off the back foot for a single, got off the mark. Then he hit a couple of boundaries. But again, what was most impressive was the fact that he wasn't rushing down the pitch like he tends to do, even before the ball has been bowled. So he didn't play any premeditated shots today. He played according to the delivery. If the delivery was short, because he's got this great ability to just rock back and pull the ball. And if the delivery was pitched up, he was able to drive it or loft it for sixes. So he played according to the delivery, didn't play any premeditated shots and looked very good. I mean, look, he had a strike rate of almost 200. What more can you ask for?
Okay, now to the other opener. Sanju Samson comes into this game at the expense of a lower order batter in Rinku Singh. 24 of 15. I know opinions are divided. How do you view Sanju's knock? Do you think he did what was expected of him under the circumstances, and this is what you expect from him going forward? Or would you rather want him to, if he gets a good start, get you a big total, which he hasn't been?
Well, he did what was expected of him to get the team off to a good start. But as a batter, I think even he would want to get a 50 plus or maybe 70, 80 and take the team, very regularly to 200. So, yes, I think he did what was expected of him, bringing a left-hand, right-hand combination to the crease, making it that much harder for the bowlers. So you cannot fault him, because he was all the time looking to take advantage of the power play and the field restrictions.
We spoke about Sanju's innings in particular, but overall, looking at the pitch, many will say that this is probably the best batting pitch that India has gotten in this entire tournament so far. But do you think this sort of pitch actually suits the Indian style and template a bit more? And then, many are surprised, why didn't we get such a good batting pitch earlier in the tournament?
Yes, a pitch where the ball comes onto the bat quite nicely, has got a decent bounce, is what the Indian batters love, because they can get under the ball and hit it over the top, and with the pace that it comes off. Zimbabwe, strangely, got Maposa, who had not played a T20 game so far, in the 11 in place of a spinner. So that was a little bit hard to understand. But that said, the Indian batters took great advantage of a very, very good pitch and, got runs. Everybody got runs, which actually is very good for the game on Sunday.
Okay, at the moment, everything seems hunky-dory, but I'm also going to look at this particular performance critically. Today's win may have been convincing, Saibhai, but the 6th bowling option, what do you make of that? Do you think that's a bit of concern? Shivam Dube went for plenty of runs today. He went for runs in the last game versus South Africa as well. Now, India effectively have 5 bowlers, but we've seen in a T20 format, you need the 6th or the 7th bowler also to do your job. Do you think that's an area of concern? And if it is, how does India address that?
Well, I mean, if you're looking to strengthen your batting and lengthen your batting, then obviously that six bowling option will not always be there. But I think you've got to depend on your five bowlers and have the sixth bowler as as somebody who you can use to maybe not bowl the 4 overs, but maybe to cover for somebody who's having a bad day. So that is what you want your sixth bowler for. And I think with that in view, this combination looks the best combination that India has.
It does seem that this might be the combination that the Indian team now continues with. Also, they don't have too many games to experiment. Every game from here on is a must-win game for the Indian team. And talking about must-win games, Sunny bhai, India are going to be facing West Indies on Sunday. That's going to be a much bigger encounter because it's a winner-takes-all sort of a scenario. West Indies today got beaten rather convincingly by South Africa earlier in the day. Now, what lessons do you think India can take from that particular encounter and take it with them for the crucial West Indies game on Sunday?
But the lesson that India can take from that game is that don't take the West Indies batting lightly. If your 8-wicket partnership can add almost 90 runs, that tells you the depth of the West Indies batting. And in Romario Shepherd, they have somebody who's not only taken a hat-trick in this tournament, but also somebody who can hit the ball into the stands quite regularly. So not to take the West Indies team lightly at all, because they have, when you look at all the leagues all around the world and the IPL, the impact players invariably are from the West Indies. They never get the credit for it, but they invariably are from the West Indies. So taking the West Indies team lightly will be a huge, huge mistake.
Just one thing, Super 8s, all the big teams, 8 teams, we thought we'll get a lot of one-sided encounter. Not that we're complaining, India has won rather convincingly, but anything that you can put a finger to, why is it that we're getting such one-sided encounters in the business end of the tournament?
Yes, I think that's because maybe a favored team like Australia wasn't able to make it, and which would have been probably a lot closer contest than what Zimbabwe have been able to do. Zimbabwe certainly played very well at the early stages, but when they've come to the Super 8, like the West Indies smashed 250 against them, now India have smashed 250 against them. So it clearly shows that as far as the bowling is concerned, that they didn't quite have the bowling to restrict batters on good pitches like they played at the Wankhede Stadium and here at the Chidambaram Stadium.
Just summing up, the tournament so far, who do you think is looking like the team to be the favorites, if I can put it that way, the favorites to lift the trophy? South Africa, clearly the undefeated team, looking like $1 million at the moment. Are they the favorites?
For me, the two favorites are, the two top at the moment are South Africa and England. Don't forget, England might have had a close victory, but that again is down to the modern tendency to try and finish the game off with a 6 rather than, when you have to get 6 runs and you've got about 20 deliveries, people still want to finish it in 2 deliveries and in the process get out instead of knocking, say, 2 and 3 deliveries. That is the modern thing. Otherwise, the England win would have been a very, very easy win against Pakistan. But England, because they've got the bowlers who can bowl spin as well as quick, they've got very good bowling attack. And the batting also, they've got a fair bit of depth over there. So I think England and South Africa are the two teams to watch out for.
That's an interesting take. I don't hear India there, but I can't blame you. These two teams, England and South Africa, have looked like the best team. Finally, Zai, before we let you go, from the Indian point of view, this particular game versus Zimbabwe, what's the biggest positive you think for India in this match? It could be an individual or a collective thing that comes to your mind.
I think the biggest positive for me would be Abhishek Sharma getting back into form. And most importantly, what was impressive was the adjustment of the bat speed. If the ball was slower, his bat speed, he would adjust it. When he brought it down, he wasn't really looking to swing the ball at the ball blindly. He was adjusting his bat speed according to the speed and the bounce with which the ball was coming, which meant that he was getting into form. He's not yet into his best form, but at least he's getting there, and that is good news for India.